Hello YouTube, my name's Dragon. Welcome back to Danganronpa Lapse. So in the last video, it was a bit of a doozy because another case started and well, it was kind of relatively obvious what happened, but like we didn't want to accept it as the main character. And so long story short, if you didn't watch it, I recommend you watch it because it was very like you could kind of see the clues and everything and you figure it out yourself immediately or what happened. Uh, but the long story short is we lost our best friend. So unfortunately, yeah, the main character is kind of depressed now. So without further ado, let's just go back into lapsing our judgment. Here we go. I slowly opened my eyes. My chest felt tight. I inhaled deeply and exhaled heavily, as if to expel my body of all the wound up fear that stirred inside. It didn't help much. My body felt laden, my heart hollow. Rising from the bed, I shook the remnants of a trying sleep away. Looking at my surroundings, I noticed I'd thrown the covers and pillows on the floor. It was strange. I'd fallen asleep, but I saw no dreams or nightmares. My subconscious felt suspended in a null zone. The clock read 4:15. I rubbed the exhaustion from my eyes. Feeling numb and listless, I dragged my heavy body out of bed and shuffled toward the door, but I didn't know where to go. That's not true. I mumbled to myself. There was one place I could think of. Poor guy, he lost his friend and now he's all sad. I stepped out of my personal room and saw Lyle down the opposite hall. He just scowled and stomped off. I went on my way. I walked through the living room quarters hall, through the foyer and up the stairs to the second floor. Sniff. I saw Say standing in front of the spa lounge door, weeping gently. Say, are you okay? Oh, God of God, Say wiped her eyes. As I approached Say from the staircase, something gleamed in her hands. It looked like a closed pocket watch. She stared a burning hole in the door, rolling the small black object between her fingers. After a moment, she managed to croak out a stiff response. This is how it's supposed to happen, isn't it? What do you mean? We can't do anything. No matter how hard we try, it'll still end like this. I had nowhere to go before I came here, but now what do I do? She was visibly shaking. It was horrible seeing her like this. Say, like, okay, I know we're depressed, but like, wouldn't the right thing to do would be to console her? Saying nothing would help. I feel like the best thing to just comfort her because we're all grieving. We have to be there for each other. I couldn't say for certain I knew what exactly he was going through, but I just knew one thing. I I understand how you feel, scared and alone. But if it's any consolation, at least we have each other. I let the words slip out, but in truth, I wasn't confident of that sentiment in my own heart yet. She rolled the delicate disc in her hands a few times again. I wondered what the item meant to her, if anything. Say didn't respond. Instead, she wiped her tears and nodded. I spent some time with Say in solitude. It was nighttime. Passing through the atrium, I spotted Forte gazing at the delicate globe centerpiece. He seemed to be humming to himself, but stopped when I approached. Evening, Echo. Hello. Did I interrupt you? No, no. It's a melancholic tune. I would really rather not bother you further with it. Oh, it's a bit unfortunate situation we found ourselves in, isn't it? Despite the heavy words, his face read differently. His shoulders remained relaxed as he looked up past the globe, at the dark, cool sky. He seemed calm somehow. Tell me, Echo, how are you? Are you alright? Huh? Am I alright? I mean, no, I'm alright. I just lost my best friend if you think about it. Like, honestly, like, no, I'm not okay. No, I'm hurt. The killing game and the trials that follow, no, This whole game, it's horrible, and I hate it. We're losing people, friends we've just met, and friends we've known. It feels like there's no end in sight. It's perfectly normal to feel devastation as we find ourselves cautiously navigating life or death situations. The game has instigated those with a spirit inflicted with distress and grief to ends unmentionable and trials heartbreaking. Yes, my soul is stirring, but in my experience on the stage, these sort of feelings never last for long. We move people we move people to tears with our performances and vitality, the loved and lost. Yet the audience knows the performance will end, and thus they'll move on with their lives. I can't help but wonder, when? How much longer until the curtains close on the story? Forgive me for bending your ear with my thoughts. I'll let you be on your way. No, that's okay. It's comforting to know I'm not alone in feeling afraid. Indeed, we are never truly alone. I stood in a moment of silence as Forte sang his words with clarity. Wow, what moving words. I made my way through the atrium and up the stairs, arriving on the third floor. I spotted Missy at the marble table in the center of the third floor. She was contemplating something. Missy? Oh, Echo. Excuse me, I hadn't noticed you. Missy looked unsettled. She might have been put off from what I did earlier. I closed the distance between us. What's that? This is. She moved to reveal a small decorated box. Another gun, and a. Why is there just weapons everywhere? Why do you keep getting weapons? Someone's gonna get stabbed and shot now. Oh my god. And either one person's gonna kill two people now. One's gonna get stabbed and one's gonna get shot. My revolver and a dagger. The two weapons shone dully in the dim light of the hallway. I discovered the dagger inside us allowed me to explore the room of my associate. Needless to say, I didn't wish to take it with me, but here it is again, as if it were following me. And the gun? Cleaned and posed for reuse. It looks like the only thing to emerge from the wreckage of the smoke lounge. Yeah, but like, isn't there just one bullet? There's one. Someone's gonna get shot again, and they're gonna get stabbed because there's literally one bullet in the gun. Oh my god. Okay, I see. The dangerous tools needed to continue the game were returned to the players. I stared at the weapon in her hands. I wanted more than anything to tear them out of her hands and. No, don't do anything wrong. And I didn't even know what I would do if I had them. To get rid of them? I suppose it's inescapable. Really snapped me out of my thoughts. Where there's love, grief will be following close behind. Really seemed to harbor a great concern for whoever the dagger belonged to. Can I ask, who was this person? Mercy hesitated. For my love. I don't think I need to tell you how important, no, precious he was, so much so that I foolishly endangered everyone. The traces and signs of our friends, they've been placed to provoke us. This dagger is analogous to seeing Silver's helmet. They are items of close regard, and to see them away from their respective owner is distressing. I withheld this information because if everyone realized the truth of these items right away, we would all become distraught and lose our bearings in the midst of saving ourselves. But I just don't know anymore. I thought I knew what I was doing, but nothing makes sense. The more time we spend here, the less I know. More the curiosity, the desire to delve further and further into a dark well for a pinch of hope. It has driven me to no satisfying end. And now I'm making you suffer my consequences. Mercy? Another heavy sigh escaped her lips. I've never felt so aimless. Echo, I don't expect forgiveness from you for what I did. Simply put, I introduced a weapon to the fray which eventually caused Ashley's downfall. I think it's better to forgive than to take someone else's blame. Like, you think about it, it's kind of our fault because Ashley did it for us. It's okay, I think it's better to forgive because if we just blame her, we're gonna hold that resentment in our heart and who knows what's gonna happen then. I understand why she did what she did. Leaving the weapon out was a show of belief that we would do no harm. I understood in theory, but Missy, you don't need to indulge me. Missy looked at me with earnest eyes. It's easy to want to connect those two damning things together to find a reason within the tragedy, but it's merely not healthy. The truth of the bigger picture is this. Ashley meant to protect the one she cared about, and she truly wanted to remove a threat from our group, having faith that we remain students who don't do harm to each other after the fact. Despite that, regardless of the risk she took, we're still here participating in this seemingly endless game. Our predicament doesn't appear so black and white, does it? Ugh, I'm sorry. I can't seem to form my thoughts. Mercy's composure was fractured. She was shouldering the insurmountable weight of guilt. I didn't know what to say. I assume you've come up here with the same reason as I. For the same reason as I. I'm sorry for taking so much of your time. I'll leave you be. And thank you for trusting me during the trial. I regret having put you through all that. I nodded almost invisibly as Mercy made her exit down the stairs. I realized Mercy was right. The situation was too complicated to make strict judgment on what was just or unjust. At the end of the day, everyone was in pain. Why should I perpetuate it by being so callous to them? I sighed. Arriving where my subconscious had urged me, I stood still. I stood in the casino, feeling phantom threats of what happened just hours ago exasperate my bones. My mind briefly wandered back to a time before this terrible game, a peaceful time before the despair. Flashback time! I'm going flashback. It was just the other night. Ashley and I were talking about nothing in particular, but we knew our time together would come to an end. The autumn season was coming to a close. Just a few more months for our new phase of life to rise from the horizon. We were relishing the bright, warm sign of the present before it set into a peerless night. Sitting in comfortable, familiar silence, we enjoyed each other's company. Have you decided where you want to go? No, not yet. I was thinking about taking a gap year to travel. Traveling sounds like a dream. Seeing different people and expanding your worldview. Yeah, but then I'd have to worry about my finances if I'm on the road often. Don't fret. There's always other options. Maybe you could travel locally. There could be interesting sights in the next city that you never knew about. Heh, that's a good idea. I've never really thought about that since I just walk everywhere in the city. What about you? Any interesting prospects? Well, Papa wants me to help out on the ranch a little more. The new season's coming up and we're expecting some competitors to stop by. Oh yeah, the races. You get pretty busy during those weeks, right? It's hectic, but it's fun. And I don't mind helping. In fact, I was still unsure about what I was going to do after school anyway, so this gives me more time to think. And some more time with Hyperion. I'm sure he would miss you if you left. Of course, I would miss him too. We laughed lightly. I don't think you have to worry too much. If anything, you have a future at the ranch with your father. It's a good fallback, just in case anything were to happen, right? Yeah, a good fallback. A pondering silence drifted. I think you should travel, though. It would be wonderful to hear all about your journey. Nothing is really keeping you down, no? Not really, but the idea is a little daunting. Learning new languages to get around, not to mention finding the money to do so. It's a little risky, and we're probably not going to have many chances to see each other. There's always a million reasons not to do something. Ah, yeah. Besides, if you ever get tired of traveling, I'll always be here. Just don't forget about me, okay? She flashed me that warm, confident smile of hers. Ah, memories that are I won't die. Don't forget. I felt my heart swell. I returned to the first floor after some time. Passing through the foyer, I saw Mercy and Forte having dinner in the dining hall. Hello again, Echo. Are you well? Yeah, I think I'll be okay. Mercy, I'm sorry if I was unresponsive earlier. I just needed some time to sort out my thoughts. I understand. We're all going through our loss right now. Yeah. Even though we shared a mutual sentiment, our eyes never met during the exchange. Forte broke the silence. Echo, would you like to join us for dinner? I've been trying, day. I've been trying. It's been a trying day. You ought to take a moment to unwind. No thank you. I had so many things on my mind and no appetite to feed the thoughts. Will you be alright? Yeah, I just have a lot to think about. Well, don't push yourself too hard, and don't be a stranger if you do end up wanting to join us. Sure thing, thanks. I left Mercy and Forte to enjoy their meal in peace. So wait, so who's currently alive? It's just me, Lyle, Forte, Mercy, and Say. No, Cannon's also alive. That's fine. I feel like everyone's here. I went into the middle of the foyer and paused. Something was bothering me. One concern I had involved someone I hadn't seen all evening. Should I visit Cannon? I think you have to, because you literally ruined one of her pictures. I think it's the better to apologize. I figure since I didn't run into her in the atrium or anywhere out along the way, Cannon must have been in her room. I went down the living quarters hall and knocked on the door engraved with the school symbol. Cannon, are you here? Were you there? I just wanted to apologize. There was no response. I knocked once more for good measure. Silence again. Ding dong, ding dong. It is now 9 p.m. Nighttime will begin at 10 p.m. The facilities will be closed until 7 a.m. the next morning. Even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise. If you were in your room, you didn't want to be disturbed. There wasn't much I could do. I slowly shuffled off. Oh man, something bad happened. I couldn't help but feel guilty for denying Cannon's help, despite her try to security. I wonder if I can get the photo pieces back from Mercy. But nighttime had come before I knew it. I would have to ask Mercy about the torn photograph tomorrow. I returned to my personal room and sat on the bedside. I felt sick and shattered. We just passed the first half of the so-called game and lost 4 of 10 students in our group. With 3 more days on the horizon, I feared for what would become of our already sparse community. I settled into bed and closed my heavy eyes. My thoughts were entangled in question of the haunting question. The words, sights, and memories blurred together, with no answer in the horizon. I let go. Images unwound and spilled into the night. Sleep would eclipse my mind as another night passed. I have no clue what's going down this time. I hope we don't lose anyone precious. Dignity, diligence. That is worrying. That is so worrying. Day 5. It's the day. Ugh. Something icked. Ugh. I felt my stomach turn over because I haven't eaten yet. Hungry. I slipped out of bed and went to the sink, splashing away for another fitful night's sleep from my eyes with the crisp water. Alert from the chill, I got properly dressed. It was disturbing how quickly I acclimated to the morning routine. Oh, 7 a.m. I was awake an entire half hour before the preset alarm went off. Grumbling from the habitual awakening, I sulked out of my personal room to grab a bite from the dining hall. The halls were quiet. Nothing but my soft footsteps upon the carpet kept me company. I crossed the dimly lit foyer and sat myself down at the end of the dining hall table. I laid my eyes directly on the basket of pastries that still sat in the center of the table. I don't think it's edible. It's been like 3 or 4. It's been 3 days or 4 days. Two pastries remained, a lemon square and some kind of Danish with jam. I helped myself to the lemon square, the delicate bite of sweet and sour zest filling me with a flavorful good figure. As much as I enjoyed the pastry, I couldn't help but remember the melancholic feeling of Pandora's life being cut short. I finished off the lemon square, leaving the jam Danish in the basket all by its lonesome. I placed the snack in a folded napkin and stuck it in my pocket. Maybe I can give it to Cannon. It's not much, but I didn't really know what I was going to do with it. Give it as a peace offering? I don't think she would accept it as a peace offering per se, but it would be a shame to waste it. I tried to recall whether or not Cannon had it even think you're doing. My thoughts were interrupted by a sharp exclamation. I didn't even finish the I rushed out to the dining hall and saw Lyle and Cannon arguing in the connecting hall between the foyer and the living quarters. Say was standing beside Lyle once more, watching the scene unfold. Cannon, you're always running away and hiding, aren't you? Shut up! You think I'm going to run headfirst in danger? I'm not going to be an idiot like you and Echo, getting myself hurt for no good reason. Lyle sees Cannon's... Don't break the camera. Dude, don't break it, because if you do, it's going to keep me insane to first do something. Lyle sees Cannon's camera from hers. Hey, hands off! I've had it with you and your secrets. I'll break this thing for good, and if you don't tell me what you're hiding... No, don't, please! What's going on? I started to intervene, but Forte stepped in from within the living quarters. Approaching from down the hall behind Lyle, Forte plucked the camera out of his grasp with ease. You're all awfully lively at such an hour. Forte returned the camera to Cannon as Mercy approached from the opposite side of the living quarters. Lyle and Cannon stepped back a few paces from each other, the space now singularly occupied by their glaze. Cannon wraps the strap around her wrist and gripped the camera tightly. Good morning, everyone. Yes, good morning to you all. Although I would hardly call shouting and threatening others a productive way to start the day. What's the commotion this time? Yeah, morning. I'm not entirely sure. I woke up early, so I went to the dining hall to help myself to breakfast when I heard Lyle and Cannon arguing about something. Why were you up so early anyway, Lyle? I haven't been able to sleep well, if you really must know. Lyle trailed off, but his gaze was tense. Sorry, I didn't mean to... Lyle scoffs. Anyway, I was awake because I was restless, but Cannon here was sneaking around my room, looking for dirt, no doubt. That's a damn lie. Is that so? Explain this. Now produce a photograph of what looks to be a checker pattern. Is that a puzzle? What is this? Indeed, just what are you showing us? It's a chessboard. I have a chessboard in my personal room, and the only way Cannon would have taken a picture of it was if she trespassed and entered my room. You're the worst. You're blatantly walking around with the thing tucked under your arm in the early hours of the morning. I didn't sneak anywhere, much less your personal room. I just happened to be around the corner when I saw the strange thing. So you admit you were hiding. Just a minute. What's this about a chessboard? That's none of your business. I brought it out only to discuss it with Say, no one else. Mercy sighed. Don't be absurd. The existence of such a thing has been brought to everyone's attention thanks to your commotion. There's no use in keeping it a secret now, Lyle. Fine. Lyle leaves the group to retrieve the item in question from his personal room. The rest of us gathered in the dining hall in anticipation. Oh, it's like Lyle and Say are becoming friends. Either that or Lyle was used as a human shield. Probably the latter. After a moment, Lyle returns presenting a lacquered wooden chessboard. Why are there X's in the corners? Care to elaborate? What seems to be the issue here? It's not strictly a chessboard per se. It doesn't come with pieces to play with, and there are markings on the two opposite corners. But from those differences alone, I know what its real purpose is. It's the mutilated chessboard problem. If I recall correctly, that's a type of tiling puzzle, no? Yes, the problem is as so. Suppose an 8x8 chessboard has two diagonally opposite corners removed, leaving 62 squares. Is it possible to place 31 2x1 dominoes in such a way along the ranks of files that all squares are covered? From the numbers alone, you think it's mathematically possible. After all, 31 is easily half the 62. However, the problem is impossible to complete. By removing the two diagonally opposite corners, we're taking out two either black or white squares. Whichever is removed, we're left with a real estate of 32 of one type of square and 30 of the other. This is an issue since the dominoes will always cover one black and one white. If the remaining squares are uneven like that, we'll be left with one domino and two uncovered squares. At the end of the day, puzzles like this are pointless. There's no problems they're hoaxes meant to frustrate. In that case, do you believe you were expected to solve it, given you are the ultimate puzzle master? I doubt it. It came with neither instruction or dominoes, just the board itself, with two corners marked, was in my room. Even if it were given to me to solve, whoever gave it to me must know that I would see through the problem straight towards the impossible nature of it. Anyway. So Val had this complicated thing in his room as well. Huh? Hang on. The moment felt oddly familiar, hearing someone had a strange thing in their room. I wondered if it was simply a coincidence or... Hey, Forte, can I ask you something? What is it? When I was shocked on the first day, you took me to your personal room to keep an eye on me. I remembered you had sheet music. What was it of? Oh, that. The sheets were actually select parts of a libretto for an opera I have some disdain for. Oh? Indeed, the story of a man that, despite his success, makes a deal with the dark spirits to get what he truly wants. I don't care much for the moral of it. I see. His choice of words were rather nonplussed, but his brow furrowed deeply at the mention of the opera. Could these things be indicative of something more? In their respective rooms, Lau had a frustrating puzzle, and Forte had sheet music that turned out to be for a story he doesn't quite like. Interesting. I wonder, then if the revolve in my room was presented in a similar fashion, to test myself with a precarious game within the game itself, what could that mean? Don't you think it has something to do with your talent as well? Perhaps, but conversely, there's a discrepancy among the items. Ashley's room item had nothing to do with her talent. Yeah, actually she the friend Solver's helmet. In a way, it could have been read as a gift at first thought, but given the history, it might have just been a jab at the fight that occurred between them. And I can surmise what sort of room gift Cannon was given. A camera? I haven't made any effort to hide it. But yes, I have some rather mixed feelings about this. No elaborating any further, Cannon scowls as she stares at the device. Say, did you also happen to awaken in your room with a strange item? Yeah, I did. Would you mind sharing it with us? I wonder if it's also something talent related. Sam momentarily withdrew into her own room to retrieve her item. Here. A skull, what the hell? Why is there a skull? She produced a yellow skull and bone statuette. What on earth? Is that real? It couldn't be real. The shape is much too stylized to resemble anything realistic. Oh, I guess you're right. Still, such a depiction of a skull, fake or not, sent chills up my spine. This thing is kind of heavy too. When I woke up, I was sitting on the cabinet at the foot of my bed, staring at me. It's like it was telling me something bad would happen. It's horrible. I didn't know what to do with it, so I just hid it in one of my cabinet drawers. Say's item doesn't seem to have any outward appearance of being related to her talent, however. The skull and bones statuette planted in a game centered on murder? I get the impression that it was given deliberately. Yeah, it can't just be a coincidence, huh? So Ashley wasn't the only one that had something out of place in her room when she woke up. It seemed nearly everyone here had something unusual in their room. Wait, all these strange things have something in common. All these strange things have something in common. It's disturbing. I think all these room gifts, it seems like they're all meant to unsettle you in some way. Interesting. It was quite disturbing to receive a revolver of all things, before the events of the killing game being revealed to us, no less. And see, what about the item you had last night? You said it was analogous to Silver's helmet? Correct. It had a painted past. The owner was to kill herself with it for betraying her family's wishes. What a lonesome request. So instead of following her family's blindsided desire, she took the dagger and nothing else as she fled her from home. Mercy withdrew the dagger from her possession and turned it over in her hands carefully. She had a forlorn look in her eyes as she stared at it. No way! There is no way! I'm letting Mercy allow another weapon to fall into the wrong hands. Now sped in to take the dagger from Mercy, but Jose held him back with a firm grip. Why are you stopping me? I'm trying to prevent more destruction. Mercy's weapons are going to do more harm than good. I kind of agree with him on that one. Because I'm afraid the next person we're gonna find is gonna be like stabbed. And can you say that with confidence you won't let the weapons fall into the wrong hands as well? Whoever fights monsters should see to it that they do not become the monster in the process. Lyle, I think you would do well to follow those words of insight, given your reaction to the events. It's not that I don't have any faith in you to solve the workings of our situation, but I don't want to see you turn against us just for the sake of an answer. I'm not turning against you. I'm trying to get to the bottom of the forsaken game we're in. Ugh. Lyle hurled the chessboard across the wall, splintering the wood into several pieces. Ugh. Lyle, violence is not the answer. You have a sharp mind. Don't let rage and confusion blind your judgment. Then tell me, what's the point of these so-called gifts? Mercy, you receive a gun of all things, and now you've got your hands on a dagger? Say, even as a skull and crossbones statue, what good could that possibly serve? Not to mention all the awful gifts. This game has been rigged from the beginning to incite violence and violence only. Lyle, please settle down. We're gathered to talk this out. I understand you're frustrated, but discussion is the best tool at our current disposal. If we keep a level head, we're sure to find an answer for the questions at hand. We have so many brilliant minds here, why not do what we can? Lyle huffed. He crossed his arms and paced to the far corner of the dining hall, allowing whoever else to speak. Well, what I can speculate is perhaps signs of distrust were to be planted among us from the start, since the gifts might have stirred feelings of resentment. If that's the case, what do you think Art's gift was? Maybe it was because of that thing he was the one to act first. It could be possible he walked into the mansion with a pre-existing bleak feelings that were only exasperated further by the situation we found ourselves in. One could surmise that it's a plausible route for his motivation. The room fell silent for a moment. Mercy and Forte were deep in thought, while Say and Cannon were their usual quiet selves. And on the other hand, just allowed the conversation to move at its own pace. Mercy continued. It's going to be difficult to reflect on the events past, but I believe it will be necessary to progress. I believe we ought to ask, the killing, what was the root of each occurrence? Art did it out of protection, didn't he? As I understood it, it was done more out of fear. Ashley was afraid too. She was afraid for Echo's safety. Both of them must have thought getting rid of the potential mastermind behind our situation would stop the game completely. However, is there such a possibility of a mastermind existing within our ranks? No one dared to comment on such a thing. Regardless, I don't like this. Strengthening the unity of the group with hypotheticals won't get us very far. Yeah, besides, who would have been so cruel to want to insert themselves into a game that could put themselves in harm's way? The idea is disturbingly masochistic. I suppose an amount of faith is required amongst us so we don't shatter what already limited and delicate trust has been built. We got this far, haven't we? The most plausible mastermind would have been Cyrus, but he was ultimately just a pawn in the overall scheme. So much for his immunity. Another pause. Mercy looked over to Lal, who continued to sulk. Lal, have you had a moment to collect yourself? He let out an elongated sigh. Sure. Then please, your work and assistance will be paramount to solving our predicament. I haven't doubted your skill for a second. However, I would ask that you cooperate. Mercy extends a hand in compromise. Lal hesitates, but eventually shakes in agreement. Make no mistake, I'm still suspicious of everyone here, Missy especially. Don't think I'll forgive you for the hoops we had to go through to figure out what happened to Cyrus. I don't expect you to accept any of my excuses, as long as we understood to have the same goal to escape our predicament. Whatever. Just like, let's, let's just get on with figuring out the damn killing game. If we think about this, the working goal we are supposedly meant to be committing such horrendous acts for is to earn something called the ultimate prize. This prize is meant to be received at the end of 7 days of captivity. In that case, couldn't we just wait until the 7th day? No, we can't, because we have to kill. Was pursuing the so-called prize even on anyone's mind this whole time? Consider this. What could possibly be so desirable, yet completely unspecified, that we are provoked to fight to the death? We ought to solely focus on pursuing escape and resisting any pressure to act on killing. That's the only answer I can foresee. But as we've seen, Zero has deployed a number of things throughout the day to apply stress. Regarding the force motive question, just the act of choosing whether or not to discuss it already has suspicious implications, doesn't it? And it didn't happen in Cyrus' case since the killing occurred early in the afternoon. But if we didn't do anything like we did on the second day, something would have been employed later in the day to ensure we would act. Case in point, the disturbing music. Then indeed, waiting out wasn't going to be an option to begin with. As far as we could tell, nothing made any sense. Tisk. Mercy furrowed her brow. It's difficult to make concrete statements about our situation. The variety of strange things happening don't seem to have any rhyme or reason. So, what can we even do? Ding dong, ding dong. Before anyone could respond, a ring filled the hall. So, day 5, another wondrous day within the walls. Today's force motive question is, do you believe in strength in numbers? That's a real head scratcher, huh? Nah, not really. It seems pretty obvious, right? Unless we have any lone wolves out there. Oh no. No, it's Cannon and Lyle, Cannon and Lyle. The announcement ended as quickly as it came. Huh? That one's kind of vague. It's not vague. It's nothing. Why wouldn't there be strength in numbers? Cannon broke the silence with a snide remark. It was strange coming from her, considering how much she avoided us. I'm inclined to agree that the answer seems pretty straightforward. I concur, especially so since we are finding ourselves in the very scenario where it is beneficial that we all be present to discuss the game. Okay, so we all agree that it was completely pointless. Back to what we were talking about, what do we think the purpose of the Ultimate Prize and the Preservation Project are as a whole? Missy, you said you wanted to involve yourself with this group. Can't you make heads or tails of this? I've been trying to make sense of it since we arrived. All I can say is perhaps we found ourselves in an elaborate trap. I heard Lal mutter, "That's obvious," under his breath. Mercy ignored him. Echo, I believe you may be able to recall what I said when you asked about alternate students for the first time. Yeah, it was interesting what you said. What those individual groups or institutions do with the students is beyond me. I've not heard many stories of success or failure from anyone who's had the luxury of being accepted. Anyway, don't take much stock in the title, is what I'm saying. What do those institutions do with the students? I mean, of course your talents would be highly coveted, but wouldn't the world be seeing constant new developments in like biological discoveries and technology? Excellent observation. Why haven't we seen those developments yet? Indeed. It's clear that as Ultimate students, we're the crux of this game's existence. How do you mean? Who or what singularly determined the fact that we had Ultimate talents? The Preservation Project? And Echo, you didn't seem to have any knowledge of Ultimate talents, students, or the Preservation Project at all prior to your experience thus so far. Huh? That's true. So I ask, how did you become a participant here? We all had to willingly sign up to be brought here. I'm curious about whether Echo's presence is a discrepancy we can bet upon. It seems glaringly peculiar given the circumstance. That much is clear. In that case, I believe we've been uniquely blessed with the peculiarity of Echo's presence that could shed light upon our situation. Mercy thought hard. I need more information. I have no idea on where to potentially fetch the knowledge I seek. Say? You know what? The reason for all this, why it's so hard to figure out. It's all meant to be beyond our comprehension and capabilities, isn't it? Why not just go along with the game instead of fighting it? No, no, you know. Don't do it, nuh-uh. What are you saying? Suddenly a rambling shook the dining through the dining hall. It sounded like it was coming from the foyer. We darted out of the dining hall to investigate. No, way! The previously impenetrable main foyer door opened. We're on day 5, and there are still 5 of you? That's impossible. The voice crackled. Test your strength. Explore beyond the doors as a group. Split up to nothing? I don't care. Your strength in numbers? Can you remain a group in spirit as you wander the mysterious halls? Yes, the doors once thought of as your only way out have been thrown ajar. They never really been an exit. You all just assume so. How silly is that? And, oh, what's this? Ding! Facing opposite of the foyer doors, the elevator indicator lit up, showing a new floor available to us, the courtroom. I was hoping to get the 4th floor, but sure. I'll even let you all take a little detour into the courtroom. Find the secrets of this wretched place, if you can't bear to face them. Yes, the game will go on regardless how hard you resist. Everyone's astonished. We were all fixated on the gaping dark hole that lay up behind the previously dangerous door. Zero is challenging us to uncover the secrets of our captivity? So be it. I'll be invading Cyrus' room. He had knowledge of mine and Ashley's connections. It's likely he has access to much more information. What? But the door the message you kept us in has opened up. There could be information further in the building too. Lau pulls out the secret note he's been holding on to since discovering it on the second day. This note has to mean something. It's clear that Zero represents one of the symbols and has shown himself in the courtroom, so the same has to be said about Eve's symbol. Whoever's operating the announcements, Eve or Zero, have to be somewhere beyond the door. It would be too obvious for Zero to be hiding in the courtroom. What if it's simply an artificial intelligence behind the two personalities? Then what? Searching for something intangible and scripted to run the game won't relieve the overall secrets beyond the walls. Cyrus knew things about the project as a whole. Well, that kind of information can't be denied at a time like this. Niall, Mercy, please. Arguing again isn't going to solve anything. Agreed. I hate to suggest it, but perhaps this activity is the fourth motor question presenting itself in a testable way. That's what I was thinking. If we recall day 3, the additional motive of distressing music was implemented at 4 p.m. Aha, we can split up and investigate until 4 p.m. where we can rendezvous and exchange information, all the while bracing ourselves for whatever Zero had in store for us. In that case, I'll venture into the unknown. If anything goes wrong here, you can bet I'll be the one to puzzle the truth together in the aftermath. Now stand squarely before the dumb hole of the open doorway. I suppose it's our best option. It's not the wisest thing to do given our already small group, but it would give us an edge in discovering the secrets of our whereabouts. Mother nods as she makes the decision to remain within the main ring. There are 6 of us, therefore we ought to divide into groups of 3 so we can all keep an eye on each other in our respective areas. Breaking off into 3 pairs is out of the question. Cannon, you're coming with me. What makes you think I want to go with you? As much as I miss you all for company if you didn't come, you won't let go of your camera and I think it might be just a touch of useful going down, okay? Cannon rolled her eyes but didn't object further. I'll join Mercy. Worry not, I shall not let anything go wrong. Besides, I just came to keep an eye on things for me. Sure you do. We decided on splitting between investigating beyond the foyer doors and remaining in the main wing. Knowing myself and Say remaining, I looked to her to see what group she would go with. Say remained still. Each was waiting for me to make my choice first. I wondered what everyone else was expecting to find from this. Okay, well, obviously we talk to the main people first, so let's start with Missy. Are you having trouble deciding? A little. I'm mostly worried about that something bad might happen. It's perfectly normal to feel fear. It means you're still human. Your senses haven't acclimated to the awful environment. Okay? Thank you. Echo, hurry it up, will you? I know. I just need some time to think. The worst action is inaction. We have to dig up this miserable place of secrets. If Lal's patience wasn't already paper thin, I just applied a hydraulic press atop it with my indecision. What do you think you'll find? Who can say? I certainly don't know what to expect, but I'll do my best to assist Mercy in her endeavors. Oh, I see. I'm not sure what I could offer to the investigation. Offer a memorable experience in the overall scheme. Don't fret. If you can't lend a hand, keep in mind simply the impact we have on other people. We're important to each other. Now, Bruce Cannon, wishing to apologize for what happened yesterday. I didn't quite know what to say. Cannon didn't lift her eyes to meet mine as I tried to overrun my thoughts. Echo, hustle. Please, Echo, time is of essence. Cannon continued to stay silent. Okay, well, thanks for being a little annoying, by the way. Say, do you have any preference? No, I'll go with whoever. I don't care. You pick. Okay. So whichever group I decide to go with, Say will likely join the other. Come on, you all. I'm being very generous right now. You don't want your opportunity to go to waste, do you? Wahaha. Times are wasting. Sarah's taunting voice rang through the hall once more, his laugh crackling through the speakers. This feels like an important choice. Perhaps I should think carefully. Wow. Does this matter? Does it matter? I feel that this matters. Okay. This feels like a pick who you want or not die. Pick who you want to die the most. I mean, I kind of Lyle's a smart guy. If I lose Lyle, I don't know what happens. But Mercy is also smart, but at the same time. I feel like say like do something wrong. You feel it. I'm gonna take Mercy's group. I'm gonna take Mercy's group. I don't know if it's the right choice, but I'm sure I'm getting knowledge anyway. Join Mercy and Forte in searching the rooms? Yeah, sure. Take me there. This feels wrong, but sure. I'll go with Mercy and Forte. You decided. I joined Mercy and Forte on the opposite side of the center glass table. So you joined Lowell and Cannon near the foyer doors. Then that's that. We'll each investigate to our fullest abilities and rendezvous here before 4 p.m. That alright with you, Lowell? Yes, ma'am. I'd already begun walking past the doors before she asked. Cannon suddenly matched his pace and Say scurried to catch up. As the three faded out of sight, I really began to feel uneasy. Yeah, I also feel uneasy. Is this okay? Splitting up? Come now, Echo. A choice has been made. The general consensus was that we were to split up evenly if we wanted to comb the ball in a timely manner. Yeah, sorry. I'm just a little worried. I couldn't shake the remnant hostility between Lau and Ken's argument this morning. What, do you think I should have gone with them and because of that argument? So I could be there and be like, oh yeah, this happened, guys. Totally trust me. There was a crackle of static which before Zero started speaking again. So you all decided to split up, huh? That's alright. No sweat off my back, figuratively speaking, obviously. Thanks to your fancy bracelet, I can still look at you are. There's no escaping for you quite yet. Anyway, I have a very special big motive for you all later, but for now, how about some fun little gifts? Not for everyone, mind you. These will be for Karen and Miss respectively at the nearest kiosk. Grab it if you want to leave, or leave it for someone else to stumble upon. I don't care. At this point, whatever you do is meaningless anyway. Huh. I wasn't sure if it was just me, but it felt like Zero's energy was different. Hehehe. I'll check back in with you folks later. Enjoy your investigation. The announcement ended. Mercy went over to the foyer kiosk as directed. Similar to a victim report, the kiosk printed a small sheet, blank face up. What is it? Don't feel any pressure to share if it's unpleasant. To be frank, I'm only expecting unpleasant. Mercy tore the small sheet from the print feed and flipped it around. As if being beholden to her vexing gift wasn't enough, I have this to remind me of the game's treachery. Whoa. She showed us the front of a sheet, a photograph of Darling, drenched in blood. A mocking picture of her death. Mercy spat the words as Forte and I took a quick look before turning our gaze away from the horrific sight. It's truly despicable. Mercy stared at it a little longer before showing the picture within her inner coat, throwing the picture in her inner coat pocket. We really must get to the bottom of this treachery. I'm revolted by how condescendingly this game treats lives. Mercy turned down the living quarters wall towards Cyrus' room. I wonder what Cannon got. Because fully Cannon got the same thing of someone else, right? Interesting. It didn't occur to me until we arrived at his door, but that we don't have a way in, do we? What do you mean? Isn't the door locked? Desperate times call for desperate measures, don't you think? No way. Mercy withdrew Darling's dagger and swiftly struck the doorknob off. No way. I don't exactly have Sarah's ID bracelet though now, do I? I guess not. Mercy inspected the borehole previously occupied by a doorknob and inserted the dagger, pulling the latch away from the jam until the door clicked open. And there we are. Do you think this would be against the rules? It wasn't explicitly stated. However, if it were, I'll deal with the fallout in the courtroom. Mercy was persistent. She opened the door and marched straight in. Terribly sorry for the intrusion. Forte stepped in, now trailed along behind him. Wait, why don't you break into everyone's room then? See what they have. Looks normal. Phone, clock, something on the table. Simon's room had little defining feature in it, similar to mine, Forte's, and Ashley's in design. The only thing setting it apart was the set of manila file folders on a bedside table. It was only a hunch, but it seems I was right in presuming Cyrus had information about us. Missy fanned the folder across the bed and began her search. Here, grab a folder and see if you can find anything interesting about our situation. Forte helped himself to a folder and glanced at the first few pages before settling himself in a spare chair. Are we looking for anything specific? Anything at all, honestly. The more we know, the better. I picked up a folder at the bottom of the pile, sat cross-legged on the floor, and opened the file. Ooh. I found floor plans for the building. There were some general blueprint diagrams, nothing I could really make sense of. Not that they looked much different from the maps displayed on the kiosks. The only thing to note was a sheet stained with blood in the corner. Among the blueprints was a small booklet. The title read, Floor Plans Game L. On the inside page, 5 floors were listed in the index. Wait, 5 floors? From the top we have... Okay. Superstructure, trial grounds, infirmary. Living quarters, casino, smoke lounge, garage, art gallery. Spa lounge, climbing center, jazz club. Living quarters, dining hall, study, theater. Collections, trophy room, and blank. The last floor listed had 2 sections. One was trophy room, and the other was redacted. So Lau Ken and Say are probably visiting the trophy room on the floor below us. I started through the booklet and found basic information we had already known. All floors have kiosks to communicate. Bracelets are used for identification. Active files are from. Nothing new yet. I flipped to the back, looking for the details about the 5th floor. Ripped out too. Dang. However, when I arrived toward the final pages, I noticed they were torn out. Whatever remained of the page stuck out from the binding in a messy tear. I grumbled. Of course, the details of the floor beneath us are conveniently gone. I stared at the back panel and noticed something odd. There seemed to be an imprint of writing pressed into the back panel. It was barely visible, but in the right light, I could just make it out. 251110? Maybe Cyrus himself wrote the numbers on the last page, with a certain amount of pressure resulting in an almost invisible imprint. These numbers might have been important, seeing as the pages before it were torn out. Or they could have been a mistake, and that's why the pages were removed. Have you two anything pertinent to share? I snapped out of my concentration. Oh yeah, our floor plans show a floor below ours. From the looks of it, Lau Canning and Say went down to the trophy room. A trophy room? That doesn't sound too promising. Well, there seems to be another room, but it was crossed out, so I can't figure what else was down there. Also, take a look at this. There are some numbers just barely visible here. I showed Mercy the impression of numbers on the back panel. What do you suppose these 6 digits could mean? A code, perhaps? I don't recall encountering any sort of code-locked door in our immediate vicinity. Then it's like the code is meant to be used in the area where the 3 of them went. Right, that's it. Let's finish our investigation before we visit them. When we rejoin, when we rejoin them, we will see what discoveries they have to report and whether or not the code will be of use after all. I nodded and made a point to memorize the numbers before setting the booklet aside. Forte, did you find anything of note? I came across our class dossier, namely student profiles about each of us. Student profiles? Did you find anything about me? I was still wondering why exactly I was involved in this game, since I didn't explicitly have a given ultimate talent. I've exhausted the files on hand, and I didn't see your name anywhere. Oh, I see. I'm terribly sorry. I understand it's been bothersome to be here as an unexplained outlier. It's not your fault, Forte. I guess it's coincidence? Although, I did come across something useful. The student profiles have an immense amount of background details. Important figures, significant others, fears, other miscellaneous. But other than Cyrus, no one present has any background involvement with the game. So all of us present are just victims of coincidence? It seems statistically improbable given our rare talent expertise. Yes and no. How shall I explain it? To start with, as we are aware, the only requirement to come here was to be an ultimate student that received a letter of recognition from the Preservation Project. Should they have accepted the offer for protection, there is a period of time between sending the letter back and, I suppose, being whisked away to the secret location. It seems in that period of time, there was a sorting method to creating the class. Classes were to be composed of pairs of ultimate students. These pairs of ultimate students would have to be two people who were significantly involved in one way or another. For example, of the folks we did see from day one, Art and Mal were apparently considered to be close enough for pairing off. Though it appears this roster would have included a few other students that would have formed pairs, but aren't present. One can only assume Cyrus himself crossed out the students that are absent. However, there are two students that aren't crossed out which may require further inspection and, well, it would be best if you saw it for yourselves. Or to reveal the roster with student names and talents. Why are there two of them? Why are there two of them? Why are there two of them? Oh my god, there's no way. He's a person. He's actually a person. He's a person. He's the host out of this. Whoa. There were 15 profiles shown in the roster. My next to Cyrus was clipped out, and 5 were crossed out with dark ink, bringing the total of student profiles visible to us to 11. However, I wasn't on the roster, so he should have brought the number down to 9 since I was recruited. There's two of a peculiar. As you noted, there are 2 extra students we still have yet to encounter. Yes, they're listed as being in association with Sam Pandora, from the looks of it. Does that mean they're also alternate students? That is indeed the case. They're listed as ultimate radio host and ultimate cartographer. Akihiko Quartz and Gaia Espere, respectively. Gaia Espere? Was it Gaia? I think it's Gaia. Let's have a closer look at those 2 students. Mercy hastily moved aside the folder strewn across the bed and placed the student profiles for Akihiko Quartz and Gaia Espere. Twinning. Akihiko Quartz looked like Zero. His clothing and hair were different colors, but his actual features were the same. And Gaia Espere looked awfully similar to Pandora. Even more damning were their school symbols depicted along with their profile pictures. No way, one of them's even, the other one's Zero. Well, one thing is for certain. It's clear to us now that Zero's true identity is Akihiko Quartz. And we can conclusively put a face to the second mysterious announcer named Eve. It seems Pandora must have known more than she was letting on, seeing as the true identity of Eve appears to be her very own sibling. Maybe that's why she got the card. That said, seeing as the student associations have been revealed, it could only mean, say, knowing Akihiko has some sort of further involvement with this game. There's no doubt Say must be the mole we were seeking. Well, that's bad. I kind of knew Say was going to be the next big problem, but like, that's bad. Or we just later go with the other 2. What if she went this way? What would have happened then? My head was spinning. Were we being fooled from the start? Two people on the inside were connected to the two entities administering this game. Shouldn't we confront Say now that we know she might be up to something? Doing so could prove to be dangerous. I would like to watch her movements to see what she's thinking, and as far as she's aware, she doesn't know we're onto her. It's difficult to determine what is going on in her mind. She speaks so little. Then, I think we should check out Pandora's room. She might have something hidden in there since she's a part of this. Excellent idea. I'd still like to look over the rest of my files, if you don't mind. I'll go with you, Echo. I'm curious to know what Art's notable gift was, if you would like to make a detour. I nodded and approached the exit. Oh, just a minute. Oh, just give me the weapon. I'm gonna stab someone. Missy, oh, okay. Oh, why gotta be me? Why gotta be me? Missy gave the dagger to Forte. You can use the dagger to knock the doorknob off like I did earlier. Uh, on second thought, I don't know if I want to leave you alone like this. I'll be fine. I still have a gun on my person. I don't want to resort to fighting it, but seeing as the situation is becoming more contentious, it may not be my choice. Don't you have one bullet only in it? Watch her fire the blank. She's gonna fire the blank. I felt the shiver go up my spine. Mercy was taking the situation much more seriously with a chillingly feeling demeanor. Understood. We'll make haste in our investigation and return promptly. Forte, don't kill me, please. Forte, please. Forte and I stepped out of Cyrus' room and walked to the opposite hall to Art's room. There, Forte struck the doorknob, pulled back the latch, and opened the door. Oh, it's a golf bag? The only thing in Art's room was a worn-looking golf bag. The leather bag was embroidered with the Campiano name. Oh, this must have belonged to his grandfather. Art must have been reminded of his pastime, golfing with him. He must have been distressing to see this upon waking, to say the least. Forte let out a heavy sigh. It's unfortunate, but it explains his reaction to Pandora's question. Now knowing she might be involved, do you think she goaded him on? That would be quite masochistic, wouldn't it? And to one's benefit, after all, she fell by his hand. That's true. Forte paused. Do you believe the flap of a butterfly's wings could cause a hurricane? Huh? A little thing like a butterfly creating a disaster sounds improbable. It's a theory, but its occurrences within similar initial starting conditions can lead to drastic different outcomes. The situation could very well be one of those drastic outcomes. Are you speculating Pandora set this entire scenario off by purposely inciting their first murder? Who can say that was her intention? Besides, her interactions were never of ill will, were they? She was kind to everyone, so who's to say perhaps the flap of this butterfly's wings caused the storm that would eventually give way to the shining rainbow that will grace our skies? That's a pretty optimistic outlook. Looking forward to the eventual repose from this nightmare is all we have, isn't it? Eventual repose? I could only hope something like that would free us from the trapping of the storm. Though, why should we wait for something minuscule and out of control like the winds to dictate our fate? I'm keen on taking such matters into my own hands, if need be. I'm not sure I would know where to begin with such an endeavor. Well, that's neither here nor there at the moment. Shall we move on to Pandora's room? Yeah, let's check it out. Sweet, please, let no one go down. We left Art's room and visited the living quarters on the other side of the foyer. Entering Pandora's room in the same fashion once again, Forte and I came upon yet another nondescript personal room. Nothing different, just a picture. Oh, only this time, there's nothing to be found in her room. Huh? Did Pandora not receive some kind of room gift? Perhaps because she was involved, there was no need. But say as one, a creepy one at that. Yes, an ominous skull and bones statuette. The two of us peeked into the dresser and were greeted with nothing but stationery and other miscellany. Wait, what if she was doing what Karen did? Karen said she received that Insta camera, right? And she'd be clinging to it basically since the beginning of this whole predicament. That certainly wouldn't be out of the question. Do you recall anything Pandora might have had that would be ground for suspicion? Yeah, that secret note. She showed it to me just before nighttime on day 2. At first I thought something was fishy, that maybe she was hiding something, but I put my fingers to my temple. I don't know. Pandora ended up suffering, and the note fell into Lal's hands. Maybe the secret note was a vexing gift, but if she were some kind of double agent, why would she nonchalantly share the note with me? Who can say? I sighed. The more we know, the better. I couldn't help but think the opposite. As we dug up more information, the more confused I became. I could only hope whatever Lau Ken and Safe found would answer the many questions, but at the same time, I was afraid to uncover more of these secrets. We had to turn to Mercy with our findings. Returning to Cyrus' room once more, Forte and I found Mercy in deep concentration. Welcome back. Did you two find anything interesting? Aunt Addie's late grandfather's golf clubs in his room, and Pandora had nothing. Nothing? Echo speculates that perhaps the secret note mentioned in the first trial may be Pandora's room gift, in the same fashion as Cannon's instant camera. The room was empty. She probably kept the note on her person for safekeeping or something. But when she left it in the pantry on the third day, Nala has been holding on to it since. We'll have to take a closer look at it when we rendezvous with Lau. Mercy returned her intense glower to the mess of documents. Anything new here? A disturbing amount of news, yes? Take a seat. Oh no. Forte and I sat in the spare chairs and gave Mercy our full attention. She sat in a momentary silence, a fierce gaze transfixed on the folders. Jeez. I've been reading on a history of involvement. The involvement of Ultimate students in killing games just like this one. Killing games? Plural? As in multiple? Yes. I know, it's starting to say the least. In that case, that reminds me. In the folder I looked at, our game was labeled Game L. What do you think L means in terms of those multiple games? No ways 50. I believe in the context, L is the Roman numeral for 50, so our game is the 50th involvement. 50 games? Oh, I deferred that number to help enumerate how long that has been occurring. Let's see. If 49 games have taken place over a span of approximately 7 days, and most with no break between each game, that's 343 days, almost a year's worth of this hell. I don't understand. I believe that tracks. I remember hearing about this project sometime late in my junior year. Why so many games, you may ask? These games were implemented with Ultimate students in mind. Ultimate students would be the prime subjects for rigorous tests and scenarios involving battling to the best of their ability. To overcome other Ultimate students and come out on top. To be the best of the best, the experiments were used to determine who could carry the future. The Preservation Project and this killing game, they're one and the same. It seems we aren't just a one in a million occurrence. But why? My voice cracked. So this place, it's just some kind of petri dish for creating an ultimate student that has no moral regard for what they're doing? The Preservation Project has washed their hands of their concerns with morality. It's clear in this documented history. What if it's fabricated? All fake only to stoke fear? It's very possible. Fear is a powerful tactic. Cyrus himself, after knowing all this, had very little room to operate. He was under a considerable amount of pressure, and eventually collapsed. I was shaking. Comprehension of the situation was the last thing on my mind. Fear chilled me to the bone. Missy, aren't you afraid at all? I'm mortified, however. Knowing the darkness that lurks behind a malicious people's intention is nothing new to me. Calling the individual person simply a constituent to strip humanity in the massive voting numbers is nothing but numbers. We play with live ammo. A game toying with the livelihood of wildly talented students, enabling a maddening battle royale to create a singular, albeit misdirected, towering ultimate student. Mercy exhaled sharply. This must end now. Mercy stormed out of the room. Mercy! Forte and I chased after her. Ruh-roh. Mercy stood arms crossed at the elevator. She was embroiled in thought, her brow knit, her posture imposing. Are you in full possession of your faculties? You aren't one to charge forward like so. I hate to say that I only have a hunch. I've little to rely on but gut feeling lately, and have nothing but instinct to justify acting upon them. I have nothing except she held the photograph and pinned it to the wall with a dagger. Nothing but a vengeance for bringing this establishment to the ground into a burning hell for all the suffering it's put us through. I was so misguided, so blindsided for thinking I wanted to be a part of the preservation project. I've been played for a fool. Wow, thanks. Just leave the weapon out there. Mercy, none of us could have known if this would be our fate. It's possible that the two conspirators must have known something from the start. Rather than confront the one remaining, we must attack the source. The elevator chimed and Mercy stepped in. We're going to the courtroom. Thanks, that really inspites a lot of confidence in me. Only the monotonous elevator hum filled our ears as we traveled to the room floor. We entered the dark, circular room once more, this time without explicit orders to determine a culprit. It was quiet. The windows were pitch black. Sarah was nowhere to be found. Lucy swept in, looking for any indication of the announcer's holographic representation. Forte and I faltered into the empty room aimlessly. I can't see a thing through these windows. It should be early afternoon about now, shouldn't it? Perhaps there are shutters covering the window. If I recall correctly, they close after a trial. Forte ran his hand across the wall, feeling the creases that lined the foundation seams running in miscellaneous ranks and piles. Ugh! Forte tried prying one of the sides open to no avail. He knocked on the wall, resulting in an echo bouncing beyond the barrier. There's empty space beyond this wall. It's probably only open when a student is being executed. You think Zero's operator is hiding where execution takes place? I gulped. It was not a sight I wanted to think about. Ruh-roh. Humph. I guess it would have been too easy to visit the courtroom after Zero encouraged us to investigate this area. Moses stepped out from the elevator again. The infirmary has nothing of note either. Mercy circled the courtroom stands once before settling at her indicated place. She leaned back and crossed her arms. A tense expression painted her face. Even if we found Zero, how are you going to get any information out of him? He must have known we broke into Silas' room, so he might be even more cautious. If I can get him to start talking, we'll be over halfway there. It's about running a conversation long enough to allow us an opening, whether it be contradiction or unknown fact. The more he talks, the faster his options will diminish. That said, we've entered the most damning areas, with little to show for. I feel as though we've hit a dead end. It's possible Lau, Cannon, and Say have had better luck on finding information in their search. We can only hope they turn up with something of note. You guys okay? The three of us were steeped in a long, contemplative silence. I sighed, thinking about meeting up with the others, wondering if they were just as luckless as we were in finding anything of use. I thought about Cannon and remembered. Missy, do you still happen to have Cannon's photo? The one from last night? I know I said I didn't want it, but... Oh, certainly. I didn't have time to patch it together, though. Missy drew the two halves of the group photo from her inner coat pocket. I lined the two halves together and gazed at a moment in time that was quickly dashed. That's okay. I just... I awkwardly stole a soft look from Forte and Missy. They seemed to understand that I felt remorseful for what I had done. I wanted to return it. Ding dong! Uh-oh. No, 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 no. No! No! Don't be loud. Please don't be loud. A body has been discovered in the trophy room. No. Oh dear. Quickly. We rushed back into the elevator, hurriedly clicking the button for the foyer. The foyer floor light chimed. No way. The door slid open after what felt like an eternity, and we were greeted with a bloody sight. Cannon, no! What the? Okay. What's stopping me from thinking this is safe? Like, 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 what is stopping me? Because I know for a fact it can't be Lyle. Like, they would have to deter me from thinking it's not Lyle. A hatch was buried deep in the back of Cannon's lifeless body. Blood stained the polished floors, the fresh liquid reflected upon the glossy surface, creating a haunting glow in the middle of the foyer. The cannon! Dang it. Missy and Forte bolted out of the lift while I remained frozen in the elevator cab. Oh man, this doesn't work. We wanted to apologize to her, now she's gone. A sickening metallic odor filled my senses and I felt a cold sweat form on my brow. Missy and Forte were huddled in concern over Cannon's body, but it was clearly no use. She was gone. But the body discovery announcement, you see it was in the trophy room. No way, there's two of them. But wait, wouldn't the murderer not discover it? Did that mean the announcement ran for a while? Was I really behind all of this? Above Mercy for days clamoring, I heard a sudden sound. Crack! Dread possessed me. Mercy, Forte! As the voice chandelier came crashing down on Mercy and Forte. No way! Wait, does that mean it's only me and whoever's left? The killer? No way! No way! They were completely crushed by the chandelier. Please tell me it's a dream. Their bodies lost under the tons of shards of glass. I could hardly muster a sound. I was shell-shocked. Glass and blood littered the floor before me. The glistening liquid reflected on the marble floor, doubled the terror and my mortified visage. The nightmarish sight brought me to tumbling my knees, blood oozing from every part of my body. My breath was falling out of place and was falling in pieces. My vision became blurry and red from panic. The elevator doors came to an automatic close to hide the sight. The sight of 3 friends being brutally killed. I knew it. It's safe. A hand stopped the doors. Ah! Shot? Ooh. I felt the sharp impact compromise my bone. Cracks creaked through my system into blazing pain. Something was sticking out of my shoulder. It looked like a bolt. The heat from the pain, the chill from the terror. I felt heavy and weak. I couldn't lift my eyes to see who attacked me. My whole body crumpled in a fight. My head knocked into the floor, causing me to see stars. And you die? This is like a game over. You picked the wrong choice. Nothing. Game over. You picked the wrong choice, Bucko. You should have gone with the other two. I did it, right? That voice. I followed the rules of the stupid killing game, so please, please, please get me out of here. The ultimate prize is freedom, right? It's Say. Aki, please. I know it's your voice, so listen to mine and help me. The ultimate prize? Zero's voice. You don't want the prize. Zero's voice is. Weird again. No, killing isn't the answer. What? After such remorseful cry, one could hear a pin drop. I could feel my heart struggling to my turn in the nose. Killing isn't the answer? Then, what were we doing here? Oh, she would have killed the other two then as well. Okay. So I guess whatever choice I made, she was gonna kill the other two and get the rest of us here to die. This is wrong. It's all wrong. So what? There's no mystery here. We're all dead. Time rewind. It's all a simulation. What was that? Come on, you all. I'm being very generous right now. You don't want your opportunity to go to waste, do you? Aha! Times are wasting. Seriously, voice rang through the halls once more. His laugh cracked through the speakers. This feels like an important choice. Perhaps I should think carefully. So, you're telling me that I made this whole choice. For what? To die? If I go the other way, am I gonna die again? Tell me the story changes somehow. Sure, let's go beyond the doors. I felt the sense of deja vu. The announcement urging us to split up. The importance of the decision. But everyone was alive. Did those horrible things actually happen, or did I imagine it? Hey, come on. It's not that hard of a decision. Echo, we need to get moving. Yeah. I couldn't begin to understand what happened when I went with Mercy and Forte. Regardless, I didn't want to experience whatever that was again. Instead, I chose to go with Lal and Cannon. I'll go with Lal and Cannon. It was decided. I joined Lal and Cannon near the foyer doors, so he joined Mercy and Forte on the opposite side of the center glass table. Then that's that. We'll each investigate to our fullest capabilities and rendezvous here before 4 p.m. That alright with you, Lal? Yes, ma'am. Lal had already begun walking past the doors before she asked. Cannon silently mashed his place. I hastened to keep up. We stepped through the doorway into the darkness. Great, just great. But what was going on? I wrapped my shoulder, reaching for the distant pain that haunted only my memories. I glanced back at the other group. Mercy gave a small parting wave before turning down the hallway to do investigation for Tay and save. It's like nothing happened. I could only hope nothing awful would happen here. My eyes adjusted to the dim lighting as we were quickly met with stairs that tumbled down a dark length. Not a single word was exchanged between the three of us as we trudged down the steps further away from the foyer's glittering hall. An anxious feeling rose in my stomach as I glanced back to the dying light. The other group was already out of sight. After some time, the fallen floor beneath us revealed itself to us at the bottom of the stairs. The hidden floor began access to stood in stark contrast to the previous floor. The lighting was dim, the walls dark and cool. Regardless, it remained decorated with delicate gold furnishings and a familiar service kiosk. An elevator hall divided the room in two equal halves, similarly to the main floor. Hey, looks like we can take this elevator back up to the main wing, huh? Probably, but what's the use of going back now? We made the decision to split up and we need to investigate. Look for an exit. Did that really need to be said? Now instructed the two of us, but before anyone could get very far, we could hear the unfortunate now familiar speaker crackle. So you all decided to split up, huh? That's alright. No sweat off my back, figuratively speaking, obviously. Thanks to your fancy bracelets, I can still locate where you are. There's no escaping for you quite yet. Anyway, I have a very special big motive for you all later, but for now, how about some fun little gifts? Not for everyone, mind you. These will be for Cannon and Mercy respectively at the nearest kiosk. Grab it if you want or leave it for someone else to stumble upon. I don't care. At that point, whatever you do is meaningless anyway. So the motives were given to the same people as before. Heh. I'll check back in with you folks later. Enjoy your investigation. The announcement ended. Lau went over to the foyer kiosk as directed. Karen hurried to put herself between Lau and the kiosk. Not so fast. There's no way I'm letting you see whatever this messed up stuff is. How do we know it's going to be bad? Everything in this place has been nothing but bad, genius. What makes you think this is any of your business anyway? Lau rolled his eyes and left Karen in the of peace, going about his way to search for an exit. I stood buying curiosity at the kiosk with the splinter small sheet blank face up. Ken rips it from the sheet out of the receiver, pulls it up in her fist and stuffs it in her pocket without a glance. I don't fall for any motives. If I don't look at this thing, Zero's trying to tease me. If the thing Zero's trying to tease me with, what? I guess so. If it were anything like Mercy's motive, it was likely to be just as disturbing. Let's see. Here's a map of our current floor. Doesn't look like there's much here. Two long halls parallel each other at the opposite side of the room. Toward the back, opposite of the stairs, were two larger rooms. One was the trophy room and the other... The map of this floor looked the same as the blueprint I saw when I went with Mercy and Forte. The other room was still redacted. I wonder what the other room is. It doesn't show on the kiosk map. Even so, we're here anyways. We can just visit the room itself to see what it is. We stepped away from the kiosk to explore the underground floor. Row. As we passed the two side halls, I took a peek in. They were listed as multi-purpose event halls, decorated settings for large gatherings. The large rooms were sparsely decorated with a number of tables and chairs, and nothing much else. The event halls were pretty, but like much of the building, they lacked any sort of quality of life. Karen and I wandered about, but not for very long. Nothing clearly strange caught our attention. It was as if the place was never meant to be anything more than recreational. The entire time we explored, Karen kept a safe distance from me as I pondered when the best time to make amends. Lau was waiting for us back when we started. About time you lot caught up. What did you expect? You didn't demand we'll travel glued at the hip. Hey now. The two glared at each other, a pop of tension burned the air. Ahem. So, did you find any sign of an exit? No, the hallway behind me just goes to the shared elevator. Not an exit in sight. But I haven't looked in either of these rooms yet. One of these rooms is listed as a trophy room, and the other is strangely redacted. Let's check out the redacted one. My interest is piqued. Three of us approached the unlisted room. Is that like tasting chambers? There was a metal nameplate on the door, but it was scratched out, the laser engraving lost underneath the messy hacking. Of course, the name is completely scratched away. Now I rattled the doorknob, but it was locked tight. Our entry blocked by an active keypad. See? Nothing but bad. That's what the code is for. The keypad's light indicator was red, waiting for a 6-digit code to unlock the door. Wait. 6 digits? I stared at the keypad for a moment and thought back to the same experience I had not too long ago. The floor plan booklet listed 5 floors our game was meant to take place in. The details of the 5th floor, our current floor, were torn out. Yet the booklet's back panel, there was writing pressed in, writing of 251110. What? The code. I think it's 251110. I repeat, what? Should I try it? It's not like we have any other leads. Are you nuts? No! Why not? Echo, you say you're not involved, but knowing the code to a keypad on a floor we've never been to is pushing it, don't you think? This has to be some kind of trick. You're setting us up for failure in that room. No. I don't know how to explain it and how I know. It's just, I have a strange memory. When our group was splitting up, I went with Mercy and Forte first, and we went to Cyrus' room. It was there that I saw a writing of 6 digits. Yeah, right. That's awfully convenient information, don't you think? We were split up once. Where did you possibly find the time and means to do such a thing? I wish I could tell you, but I don't know. What happened earlier doesn't make a lick of sense to me either. I mean, there was a body discovery announcement, and I think it was you. Stop! Now his voice cut the air. Echo, I don't understand you. First you turn everyone against Art, then you do everything to die Ash's actions against Cyrus, and now you miraculously know the code for this door we've never seen? Just, what on earth are you up to? Give me a reason to believe you're not involved. What's stopping me from believing you're all part of this act? From not having my remarkable talent to sabotage the trials in every which way. Hang on, what do you have to gain? That's enough! You really think I wanted this? Look, I'm just as frustrated as you are. It was never my intention to turn anyone against Odd. The circumstance we were in demanded a vote because lest everyone suffer the consequence. You really believe I'm an explosive factor in this game? Don't think for a second I wanted any of this to happen. I'm still at a complete loss of how I'm even here to begin with. You really think I wanted my best friend to go through the emotional turmoil she went through when she found out I was in this game? You think I wanted her to die protecting me? We're all in pain, and suffering isn't a competition. So I'm sorry that I don't have the answers to any of your questions, but I'm doing my best to combat these desperate feelings. After the second trial, I saw how hurt everyone looked. Not just for my sake, because we just found ourselves in something horrible and inescapable. I never asked for this ultimate student nonsense. And maybe it was selfish to want to protect Ashley, but what did you expect? You wanted to protect Art, didn't you? Arguing like this isn't going to solve anything. I don't even know if the code will work, much less know us in the room to begin with. And I don't expect you to trust me with it, but it's the only thing we have at the moment. Now let out the feet aside. I'm sorry too. I'm just trying to find a reason why the only person who gave me the time of day had to leave so quickly. His voice dropped to a low whisper. I feel like I let Art down, messed up big time. He was misled by me, thinking my daughter was suspicious. It's my fault, huh? That was no different from me. He was trapped with the impression that his friend's downfall was a direct consequence from his actions. No, it's not as simple as that. No one is singularly at fault. I won't speak on behalf of Art, but given the threat of danger, I'm sure he just wanted to keep everyone safe. None of us could have known we would end up in this scenario, and Art, least of all, truly want to cause harm. He strangled Ventura though. I know, there's no denying that. He did what he thought was right to try and end the game. It's hard to say what's right and wrong. We can only move forward with our best judgment learned from what we've experienced. We have to try at least, right? I'm tired, Echo. I can't sleep. Whether we try to be cautious or take the risk and test the rules, the situation ends up being the same. We're still trapped. Still trapped and doomed to the responsibility of our past actions. We can't change anything that happened. Kind of stared at the floor absently. Yeah, but there's nothing to try but this. I just hope you can trust me on this. Alright, try the code. I nodded and approached the keypad. You want me to remember the code? 2, 5, 1, 2, 3. Imagine I forgot the code. Imagine I forgot the code. It would be so funny. The keypad accepted the code and the sound of a latch being released clicked out. It worked. Another crackling in the air interrupted me as I grasped the door handle. Shoot, did you catch us in the act? My heart was racing. Did I actually set something off? I paused and the three of us stood with a bated breath. Hey, just checking in with you all. Having fun exploring the new digs? I bet you are. I have two more fun little gifts for you folks. Forte and Say. They're Salamon song for the former and for the latter. Nothing. You're kind of insignificant, so such a gift suits the person. Yeah. Aha. Enjoy this bit of tune if you can. It's all in German, so it's nonsense to me. Uh-oh. Zero's voice dropped out and the tune carried on. A gentle, haunting piano accompanying the droning soft vocals. I couldn't comprehend what was being said, but the energy of the song created was unnerving. Oh, Zero didn't say anything about us entering this room. That aside, neither Lal or I were recipients of Zero's gift. That's a good thing. Come on, Echo, let's see what's in there already. Oh, right. Shaking the thought, I pushed the door open with a slow creak. What? Upon shutting the door, the ominous song ceased its crooning within the room. We found ourselves in a hexagonal eerie room with full-length capsule-like objects creating the centerpiece. Standing workstations lined the walls corresponding to the capsule objects on each wall. Miscellaneous monitors and controls for each section. What is this place? We stepped further in, our footsteps echoing through the chamber. If I had to guess, considering our killing game scenario, one could say there ought to be a cold room to store bodies. Do you think this is where they are? Well, it would make sense since this place was hidden behind layers of precautionary security, though it's not a very conventional design if that's the case. I inched cautiously toward one of the large capsules. There was a small display monitor at the foot of the closed capsule that read "Stable" in bright green letters. Spotting a small viewing window at the head of the capsule, I made my way over and peeked in. Oh, now it's the sister. Gasp! I staggered back at the sight. I recalled seeing the person's visage when I was with Monsieur Forte. What is it? Now ran to the window, standing on the opposite end, his eyes widened. Is that Pandora? The document says otherwise. Same last name, though. Cannon was holding a medical chart that was hanging near the stable indicator. It's her. My voice was barely a whisper. I stared at her, my vision twisted as I felt my heart start racing. The other announcer Forte had discovered, along with Zero's true identity. The other announcer behind the killing game was right in front of me. Val paused and took a closer look at the person in the capsule. He took out the secret note he had been holding onto and inspected it further. Without a word, he started unlatching the capsule. What are you doing? Are you going to take the person out of the capsule? It's the person behind Eve. There's a pin on her shoulder that looks just like the Eve's announcer symbol and the symbol on the secret note. She could be dangerous. What if she attacks or something? Whatever. There's three of us and only one of her. Stay alert. The final latch clicked and the cool air rushed out of the containment unit. We watched in awe as the blast automatically arose. She looked as if she were asleep. A steady, billion-noticeable rise and fall of her chest, indicating her shallow breath. Then, her eyelids twitched. How? Her voice was hoarse but familiar. The former disembodied voice of Eve was now given a definite face. She reached out, but before she could do anything, Lau stopped her. Hey, what are you doing? Please, I can't bear being in there for a second longer. She murmured wearily as she struggled with enormous effort to pull herself up. Come on, Lau, give me a hand. Lau grumbled in dissatisfaction, but helped anyway, guiding Eve out of her containment. She crumbled to the floor, completely fatigued. Are you okay? I'm... She could hardly shake out the response. Then I remembered. Here, if you're hungry. Reaching into my pocket, I offered her the jam Danish I had saved earlier. She gently accepted it, taking only a few bites before stopping altogether. Oh, Pandora, what have I done to you? A blank somber stare glazed over her tearful eyes. Your Gaia is fairer, right? How do you know? I don't know how to explain. I still didn't know how to reasonably describe the strange occurrence I experienced earlier that caused me to know things I shouldn't. Wait, who is this? She's... It's okay, as Echo says. I'm Gaia Xperia, Pandora's twin sister. Who couldn't save her? Twin sister? That explained the striking similarity to Pandora. Save her? Does that mean this note was from you in an attempt to contact her? What's your role in the involvement in this game? Hang on, you wanted to save her? I thought since you were part of the game that, I don't know, you were working against us? With a heavy sigh, Gaia set herself up against the base of the containment unit. You have a lot of questions. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. Welcome to the testing chambers. It's a pleasure to meet you all, Echo, Lowell, and Cannon. We gave Gaia some time to regain her strength as she cautiously savored the pastry I'd given her. She sat herself in a chair at the small workstation as we idly waited. Lowell was noticeably impatient. Cannon still unreadable. So, who are you in context of this game? Unlike Zero, who controls the main aspects of the killing game, I'm just an overseer. We are able to oversee the entirety of the game from our captivity. Whoever is placed in one of these incubators has their consciousness removed from their body and incorporated into the technology of the facility. I was never originally part of this, but seeing as this containment unit has a synonymous framework into collecting data from our consciousness and biopsychology, I was able to wedge my way through the basic functions. But I'm concerned. It was his request to open the foyer doors. I think he wanted you to find me in this room. I'm afraid he has something in store for me. She shuddered at the thought. If what Gaia was said was true, even she wasn't safe. Is this a farce? A bunch of lies to make us believe you're not a threat? I'm sorry, I cannot provide more details to convince you. You'll just have to take my word for it. In that case, where is Zero? His body is in one of the other units. However, he is in much worse condition. Gaia pointed at one of the other units on the opposite sides of the hexagonal centerpiece. When I walked over to the unit that was lit, the screen displayed critical in red. What's wrong with him? It was as she said, the Vice of Zero was in the unit, but his hair and clothing were different, just like in the human profile for Akihiko. It's him, Akihiko Quartz, otherwise known as the Ultimate Radio Host. Zero, the spare program infected version of Akihiko, has control over malicious threats. I see the control over general facilities, such as the infirmary, in an attempt to make contact with participants. That note, it was Pandora's room gift. I composed the notes from Pandora and whoever could recognize the other emblem. Whoever could recognize Zero's, or rather, Akihiko Quartz's emblem. It's safe, but I haven't had any luck. And I'm not sure Pandora figured it out either. Huh? Gaia doesn't know who the other insider is, so his profile was attached with this Akihiko's after all. Wait a minute. Cannon hushed, muttering. Well, what are you waiting for? Huh? Why don't we just release him from the unit and be done with this game? That is not advised. That's just Akihiko's body. When operating the game is Zero, a forked consciousness of Akihiko that has been merged with the spare program. I don't know how Akihiko's real consciousness is faring. I worry he's too far gone. If we release him, it's possible Zero could malfunction, but it could also kill the host's conscious. So what? A small price to pay for all the hell he's put us through. No, please. It's not him. It's the fault of the spare program, the preservation project, the ultimate prize. Guy's eyes were dark. All of this, a charade conducted with appalling precision for the purpose of the ultimate prize, a complete and utter hoax. It's a hoax? I recall that I had heard earlier before I found myself back at the group split decision. The ultimate prize is freedom, right? The ultimate prize? You don't want it. What is the ultimate prize? Not a second after my harsh question. My harsh question did a booming clunk sound from the hole through the hole. The lights went out. No! Darkness! Lyle's gift! Direct from his fears to you. Only murder will lift the darkness. Almost you sure the announcement cut out and we were left to wallow in the void. The room was blanketed in black velvet. I couldn't even see my own hand in front of my face. What? How is anyone meant to see anything in the darkness, let alone do something as calculated murder? Calm yourselves. He wouldn't cut all the power in his former body. His former body is still in the containment unit. Are you sure? Wait, that aside. Wow, Ken, are you okay? There was no response from them. Either of them. However, a sharp, haggard face behind me. Sounded like he was having a fit. His voice was tight. Lau, are you okay? It's dark. I can't. Hang in there. A flash briefly played through the darkness. My eyes adjusted to the darkness, and I could see the silhouette of Gaia standing some feet away from me, holding the light. This should help. A flashlight in the emergency kit below my capsule. Yes, thank you. I took the flashlight and directed the beam toward the wall, allowing the light to bounce and disperse itself for a little more illumination. Come on, deep breaths. His breath had broken, but he was making an effort to control his breathing. I tried to comfort him, rubbing his trembling back as he tried to steady himself. As Gaia and I gave Lyle time to recoup, I noticed something strange. Wait, where's Cannon? Cannon! I called out to her, but I got no response. Did she get lost? Damn it, she has to be up to no good. As much as I couldn't help but jump to the same conclusion, I thought there had to be another reason for her disappearance. Don't say that. As much as we all hated to see the truth in the first trial, Cannon still helped us. And she even gave me the group photo she took after Ash's trial. She probably went to look for the other three. How could she possibly see in the pitch darkness? Why didn't she just sit still and do nothing like she always does? I can't say. I just hope she doesn't do anything outrageous. Sure, but there's no telling what could happen to her, right? To her though. Ugh. So you're telling me that this guy's scared of the dark? No body. Ding dong. No! A body has been discovered on the trial grounds. It's happening again. Just as Zero said, the lights returned after the announcement of a body discovery. You'll be granted a period of investigation, and then we will begin our class trial. No way. I didn't want to believe it, but the game carried on to take another victim. I gulped. Gaia, do you know who was killed? Gaia shifted nervously. I cannot see anymore. After being removed from the containment unit, I can only do as much as you participants can. That is, until I can gain control from the systems here. Gaia quickly made herself busy at the workstation, familiarizing herself with the programs once more. This can't be happening. So, you have to go up there. I don't know what we'll find, but another death. What else could occur in this damn place? I didn't care for the indignation of his tone, but Lau was right. At this point, it would be foolish to expect anything less than death. However, I just wanted to know that whoever remained was still safe. Let's go. We should try to rendezvous with whoever is left. What about her? Can we trust that she doesn't try anything funny? Gaia was deep in thought, her attention fixed on the workstation near Zero's. Go ahead. I've been investigating this group for some time. There's still much to learn from here. I'll do what I can to show up information. Don't worry about me. I'll be on my own, but I know better than to let my guard down. But I was focused on the workstation data, filling the monitors with lines and lines and who knows what. It didn't seem like she would be moving soon, so I left her to her work. Okay, be careful. Thank you. Well, I think It's been already almost 2 hours. I'm gonna end the episode off here. I know, I'm aging you guys a bit with who got killed. Who do you think got killed? Let's predict. I think Mercy is the one who got it. But that just made me wonder what the gift 14 Sai, whatever her name is, got. But anyway, I'm gonna end the video off here. I hope you guys enjoyed. And I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.